Church of Scientology's practices, particularly within the Sea Organization, Sea Org, appear to violate several aspects of international human rights law, including provisions outlined in the Geneva Conventions and related humanitarian standards. The Sea Org, though not legally incorporated, functions as Scientology's elite workforce, where individuals sign lifetime contracts and are subjected to grueling schedules, physical exhaustion, and systematic psychological manipulation. Auditing sessions conducted with the E-meter covertly influence members' mental states while fostering dependency and compliance under the guise of spiritual progress. This manipulation, combined with isolation and physical deprivation, aligns with violations of Geneva Convention 4, 1949, which prohibits violence to life and person, in particular murder of all kinds, mutilation, cruel treatment, and torture. Article 3. While the Geneva Conventions are primarily applied in contexts of armed conflict, their principles have been extended to include any practices that undermine human dignity and autonomy. Scientology's disciplinary programs, including the former Rehabilitation Project Force, RPF, and its current undisclosed replacement, also fall under potential violations of Geneva Convention 4 and other international human rights standards. The RPF subjected Sea Org members to forced labor, confinement, and psychological degradation, conditions reminiscent of unlawful imprisonment and treatment that constitutes cruel or inhumane punishment. Article 32 of Geneva Convention 4 specifically forbids physical suffering or extermination, corporal punishments, torture, and mutilation, all of which are echoed in reports of the physical and mental abuse faced by those assigned to Scientology's punitive programs. The forced labor reported within the Sea Org is also a violation of Article 5 of the 1930 ILO Forced Labor Convention, prohibiting any form of coerced work under threat of penalty, further reinforcing the severity of these allegations. Responsibility for these practices ultimately rests with Scientology's leadership, particularly entities like the Religious Technology Center, RTC, and the Church of Spiritual Technology, CST, which control and enforce Scientology's hierarchical systems. By subjecting Sea Org members to forced labor, confinement, coercive manipulation, and physical exhaustion, the organization engages in practices that contravene international legal protections against torture, cruel treatment, and slavery. These actions align not only with violations of the Geneva Conventions, but also with broader definitions of human trafficking, as outlined by the United Nations Protocol to Prevent, Suppress, and Punish Trafficking in Persons. Though Scientology reframes these practices as religious discipline or spiritual progress, they systematically strip individuals of their dignity, autonomy, and fundamental human rights.